Man, there's just nothing quite like enjoying the wilderness, you know, and being able to go out there with friends and family and enjoy this amazing world and just all of the adventures that you can have and enjoy the beauty of creation is just awesome to see and enjoy. And being able to live in the Rocky Mountains and do that with my family, and in turn be able to take you guys along on a regular basis here at the channel. You guys coming week after week and watching these videos, and really I feel like being able to all of us together go on adventures to discuss systems, talk about gear, talk about life, and just the concepts of life and the concepts of how gear may make our lives just a little bit easier and a little bit more enjoyable. So today I'm really excited to do this particular video because I want to talk with you about belt knives that are $50 or less, and what are the top 4 belt knives for $50. And you know, I understand that for many of us, we are on a very tight budget. We're trying to figure out where, you know, the money goes, where are we going to put it here, invest in the kids, invest in retirement, invest in the home, you know, all those different things. And so where does all the money go? And I know for many of us, we're on a tight budget, you know, and you want good quality products, good quality gear on a budget price. And so in this video, I just want to share with you my opinion after having tested out a lot of different blades, really put a lot of thought into this video, what for me would be the top 4 belt knives I could recommend to you. And the belt knife to me is a fixed blade between 4 inches and about 6 inches. It's something that's not super heavy. It's not really a survival knife. You know, you can carry it on your belt all day. You know, you could hike miles and it's not gonna, you know, get in the way or weigh you down or pull your pants down. You know, you could attach it to maybe like the shoulder strap of a backpack and it's not gonna get obnoxious. That's my thought in a belt knife system. So I want to share that with you. These would be great to pair with either like a hatchet or an axe or a large wilderness blade, a big chopper, and this would do your kind of smaller, finer stuff, and then you'd have that other tool to do the bigger, harder splitting of wood and chopping down trees and branches and that type of thing. So that's the concept that we're looking at here today. And so guys, what we're about to look at are my top 4 belt knives that I could recommend to you that are $50 or less. So with that, folks, let's go ahead and hop to it, check these guys out, and see what's out there. Well, folks, number 4 on our list is the Steel Wheel Druid 205. That's what we have here. And honestly, this blade came out of nowhere for me. Now, when I was thinking of the concept of this video, I really wanted to have a good stainless steel option because the rest of what we're about to see here is some form of high carbon. So for those of you in really humid environments, or that's just what you like to use, as stainless steel, I wanted to be able to offer you a good option, and an option that you would be excited about and that I was excited about. So I was hunting around online, really wasn't seeing a whole lot. And then I came across this new release. Now, the Druid line from Steel Wheel has been around for a while. They have several different blade shapes, sizes. They all have all the way up to 9 inches, all the way down to 3.5 inch blade shapes, but they're all similar in that you get this leather sheath, which is a fantastic leather sheath, friction held, dangle. I'll just show that to you since we're talking about it. I mean, check that out. Awesome. And at the $50 price point, come on, somebody. Fantastic little setup there. But they'll all come with that. They're all going to come with this TPE handle. And you can see here that this handle is really well done. It's like craton. I love the checkering that they've done. Very rounded, ergonomic, full. You know, it's got a maximum thickness of 0.9, which is really nice and kind of beefy. For my large size hands, fits well. Got your little guard here, no jimping, but I can hold this in any single, you know, grip that I would want. Lanyard hole, full tang out the back, which is awesome. Fantastic, really reminiscent of the underwhelmed Falkneven F1 that I reviewed about a year ago. You know, I was really expecting a lot out of that knife. Was really underwhelmed in the quality of sheath, the price point, the thickness of the blade, and the handle were all just kind of goofy and just weren't connecting with me. So I was underwhelmed, and I ultimately sold that blade. I have no plans to do that. I plan on keeping this baby because it is sick, and basically everything that kind of F1 idea offers, I think this is better executed in almost every way. The handle, again, much thicker, fuller, a little bit better guard. We're having the exact same blade length, basically, of 3 7/8 of an inch long. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that basically 4 inches is minimum blade length for me on a fixed blade. If it's smaller than 4 inches, I usually just end up using a pocket knife and would prefer to stay away from a fixed blade. So this is like the minimum. I would not go any smaller than this on this knife. size and dimensions. So 4 inches. We got that high saber grind, 90-degree spine, so it's going to throw sparks like crazy. It does a great job with that. Good little clip point with a huge amount of belly, and that clip is not aggressive, it's not sharp, it's nice and wide, giving you good strength at that tip. But another great feature is that the blade thickness is 0.14. On a knife of this size, that is phenomenal. At just over 1/8 of an inch thick, great. You don't need an overbuilt knife in this size range. You want it to be nice and thin so it'll be a mad slicer, and that's exactly what this Druid 205 is. It's just a great slicer for food prep, for woodscraft, whatever you want. You don't need it overbuilt. And I think the F1 from Falcon even was like 0.19 or 18, which is totally overkill for a knife of this size, in my opinion. So I love every aspect of that blade. This bad boy is really nice and lightweight too, under 5 ounces, and then like 7 ounces with the sheath, so you won't even notice it on your person. The thing to note that, you know, can't be all good at this price point. Now, it's decent. We're looking at 9CR18 MOV steel, so this is a Chinese-made knife. Now, the fit and finish is fantastic. That steel I've had experience with not only in other Druid knives, but also in other companies, and it's a decent steel. You're getting good rust resistance, you're getting good edge retention, and the heat treat that they do on this particular one with the Rockwell combination, which is like 59 to 60 or 58 to 59, something like that, high 50s, low 60s, if I remember correctly, that the Druid is Rockwelled in at, as well as then their heat treat, does a great job. You're basically going to expect similar performance out of like a SOG Seal Pup, maybe like a SOG Northwest Ranger, or a Cold Steel SRK and AUS 8, or the Steel Wheel Argonaut and AUS 8. Very similar, very hard to find a difference. It's very tough, durable. I had the longer Druid 230, which is their 9-inch one, chopped, batoned, even had the knife slightly flex and it sprang right back into place when we were batoning. So very tough, durable, and didn't have any chipping or bad wear issues. And it's okay to get an edge back on it. It is a stainless steel, so it'll be harder than the other knives we're about to look at today because they're high carbon. But for the trade-off, for the $50 price point, for the sheath, for the ergonomics, for a good edge retention for the price, this is a phenomenal companion blade or belt knife to have in the collection, particularly if you're looking at stainless steel and you're on that $50 budget price point. So guys, number 4, the Druid 205. What $50 belt knife size video would be complete without the Mora Bushcraft Black? Number 3, the Mora Bushcraft Black here coming in. This sucker is a fantastic bushcraft knife. If you're really into bushcraft, then this is the knife I would recommend to you at that price point, because not only are you getting some nicer features than some of the lower end Moras, but the blade is just so set up for those bushcraft style tasks. The real fine triggers and traps, insane, you know, feather stick making, you know, those type of things. Now, I wouldn't consider myself to be a bushcrafter. I'm more of a hiker, backpacker, just kind of general outdoorsman. I actually kind of prefer utilitarian. You'll see that at the end of this video. So I'm not going to sit there at a campsite and like weave a basket or make some, you know, giant rocking chair out of the materials around me and build 7 traps, and that's what I'm going to feed off of is the animals I can catch, that type of stuff. There's nothing wrong with that, and I know a lot of you guys love that, and that's awesome, and you know, that's a great skill to have. So this would be the knife that I would recommend for you for that. Now, we are getting basically Mora's proprietary 1095. They call it something different, but when you look at the properties, it's 1095. And we're looking at about 4.3 on the blade length, that Scandi grind, which again helps with all those bushcraft style tasks. 1/8 of an inch thick, so it's going to be nice and thin to do all of your slicing tasks. 90-degree spine. It's got that black coating, again, more bushcraft black to fight against that rust, so you don't have to worry about putting patinas and all that stuff. And you can see holds up well, but I mean, this knife has seen a ton of use and abuse, and it's definitely, you know, taken its wear. Then you got a bigger, fuller handle with a deeper guard, so that just kind of helps with, you know, really good solid lockup and grip on the knife. You will love the ergonomic feel on the knife. Now, this is a partial tang, so it's going to go 3/4 of the way down here. You can watch videos ad nauseum of people, you know, destruction testing and durability testing of Moras. Very tough, very durable. We could argue, because it's the only partial tang knife, that it is maybe the weakest out of all that we're going to see here today. But these are small knives, and this is a bushcraft knife. You shouldn't be trying to cut down a forest or split, you know, 10-inch logs with this little knife. It'll break, you know, or, you know, it'll be hard pressed to do that well. So the one downside I would say for the most part is the sheath. It's pretty garbage, you know. flimsy plastic, you know, it gets the job done. But if you are considering this as your main belt knife, and then you're going to go with either a more expensive, larger chopper like a BK9 SE Hungulus, or you're going to go with a nice, you know, high quality hatchet or axe, then I would recommend checking out aftermarket leather or Kydex. The knife really is asking for a better sheath than what it comes with. So at under 50 bucks, at our number 3 on our list, this is a phenomenal knife if you're into bushcraft. Number 2 on our list, coming in, is the Schrade SCHF 42 and 42D, designed by Brian Griffin. These guys are going to be the biggest knives that we will look at today because they are both have just over 5 inches on the cutting edge. These are going to be 1095 high carbon steel, and we could argue the most tough and durable because they are full tang, exposed tang knives with handle scales on either side. So if you are looking for that borderline almost like survival knife style, this is the one that I would recommend for you, and you're looking for that 1095 because that's what this knife offers you. Now, coming in at under $50, it's really impressive for everything that we are getting. We're getting a good leather sheath that's very doable. It holds the knife well, good quality. Now, if you are considering making this like your go-to belt knife, then I would recommend, again, going with either aftermarket leather or aftermarket Kydex, as well as aftermarket handle scales. These are Gryvery handle scales, kind of like a hard plastic. Think of like holding onto a Nalgene bottle, which is kind of annoying sometimes. You know, I would either do stippling and pocking, something like that. And the handle scales never really quite line up perfectly. The tang either comes out a little farther than the handle scales, or the tang's a little in. So there are companies that do aftermarket micarta and G10 for these handles. I would recommend upgrading to that as well if these are going to be like the belt knife you're going to use for this foreseeable future. So the handle scales, though, are very ergonomic. That's what's awesome and really fits the bill, is that they just feel fantastic. Plenty of real estate there. Again, that full tang, 3/16 of an inch thick, 90-degree spine. Now, these are made in Taiwan. Now, I have used many of the 1095 coming from this factory out of Taiwan that Schrade uses. It's very good, holds a great edge. You know, very difficult for you to find any differences between US 1095 from like K-Bar or Ontario Knife Company and some of those other companies out there. They're very similar. Now, I also like the fact that they do this really nice slick kind of titanium coating to fight against rust. It's not gritty, gunky, annoying like a lot of the other 1095 blades out there. So that's really cool that they do that. And then basically you just kind of pick your poison. The original 42 is going to have the black handle scales, black sheath, and a recurve. So if you're into that, that's the one you'd want to go with. Then you can get the 42D, which has the tan handle scales, brown leather sheath to match, and then no recurve, so more of a classic drop point design. Really just picks your poison, and they're all within about $2 of each other, guys. So for under 50 bucks, this is one of the toughest blades you can get in a great belt knife option, coming in at number 2. Folks, we come to the end with number 1, top dog, my fave. So much so that I didn't buy it just once. I didn't buy it just twice, but I bought it 3 times. Right here at the channel, purchased by Gideon's Tactical, the Gerber Strongarm. And guys, I got to tell you, this blade is really mind-boggling for a lot of different reasons. First thing, the black version will always come in at under $50 from what I've seen. Sometimes I can even pick it up for $41, you know, if you get maybe like a damaged package over on Amazon. The Coyote Tan will usually come in about $50 to $55. So it just kind of depends on color combinations. But really what makes this knife stand out from the crowd in the $50 price range is, one, this is the only USA made knife on the table that we're looking at here today, and one of the few out there in that price range made here in the USA. The other thing is the performance. Stunning for everything that we're getting. We have 420 high carbon steel. Now, usually I would balk at 420 high carbon as, yeah, whatever, you know, maybe for like a cheapo pocket knife or something like that. But Gerber does a great job for the price point with this steel. They do a lower Rockwell around 55 to 57, then they do a great heat treat, and so for the money you're getting very tough, durable steel that holds a decent edge and isn't too difficult to put an edge back on it. And as you can see from this top one, we have thrashed beyond compare on this knife. This is probably one of the most heavily tested knives you will ever see here at the channel, because not only did I do all the hard testing that I normally do, but then I sent it off to many other YouTubers, and they did everything from survival to bushcraft to literally tearing open a door to a house with it, cutting open an oil drum, digging with it, to, you know, tearing parts out of a car with it, anything and everything. And this thing just came back ticking after months and months of abuse. Aside from wear on that black coating, basically good to go. So guys, I love the durability of the knife. And really what also stands out is the fact that, you know, Gerber, I'm not necessarily a fan of a lot of their products. Their overseas Chinese produced stuff is kind of junk to me. I don't like it. I feel like it's pretty low quality. And then their US stuff, which I believe is actually, for the most part, usually hits great price points, sometimes is really focused on like law enforcement and military. Tanto blades serrated, which are fine for the military, self-defense, you know, law enforcement, that type of stuff, but really narrow in its usage. You can't really use it as just a utility knife or a camp knife. And so I love the fact that when they came out with this, they offer it in serrated or plain edge and just had a normal clip point with a good amount of belly. That is fantastic. I really hope Gerber does a lot more designs in this kind of vein of plain edges, classic drop points or clip points, making it very easy for us to use in a lot of different scenarios. Then if you want serrated, offer that option, great. So what we have here is a full tang constructed knife, 3/16 of an inch thick. You're looking at, I believe 4.6, 4.7 on the blade length, saber grind, 90-degree spine, so it will throw sparks like crazy. Tough and durable, as I've said. You can go through and watch all the videos on that. And then the handle is fantastic. Fantastic with that full tang, not a partial tang, with the pommel out the back there with that glass breaker. Great rubberized handle, so it fits great in your hand. And I love the bottom and top guards that lock you into place for military use. So if you do want to use this as a military knife, you absolutely can, but they're not super obnoxious and huge, so I can easily choke up over them and do fire Bushcraft if need be. I love that aspect of it. But that's not the only aspect that makes this thing great, is that, you know, if it came with like the sheath we talked about with the Mora, you know, hey, that'd be great. I would totally take it because of everything this knife can do. But on top of that, they give you one of the best production sheaths, I think, on the market, honestly, regardless of price point. Because what they give you is a glass reinforced nylon sheath with tons of lashing points. They give you a belt attachment, so you could do it horizontal, you know, like scout style, MOLLE compatible. They have this nylon belt attachment and MOLLE attachment that you could take off if you don't, really slim it down, make it really nice and unobtrusive if you want. Very durable. And on top of that, it's ambidextrous. So if you are a righty or a lefty, you can just rotate the blade and it clicks right back into place. Fantastic setup on that sheath that they offer you. So guys, with that, now this is the most utilitarian version of it. The reason I have three is I have this guy's kind of nostalgia because it was so beat up, and that's kind of like my go-to, you know, if I want to take it out and have some fun in the woods, this is the one I take. And then I bought these two to go in my go bags, my get home bags that go in my car, my wife's car. That's how much I trust this knife. That's how much I've enjoyed this knife and the capability that I've seen with it. So that is my go-to get home bag, so it doesn't break the bank. And gives me a lot of capabilities. Not just a bushcraft knife, it's not just a combat knife. It has that good crossover and can do a lot of camp tasks, but it can also do a lot of harder utility, tougher hand-to-hand combat if need be, you know, whatever it may be, tasks that you're thinking you may need to deploy a knife in, it has that capability. Just a jack of all trades, master of most, honestly, for the $50 price point is honestly mind-boggling. And number one, the Gerber Strongarm coming in at 50 bucks or less. Well, folks, I've had a lot of fun with you doing this video. I've done a lot of takes because I wanted to get this right and really talk you through it and give a good presentation to you. So guys, any one of these knives, you pick your flavor, you pick how you want to deploy the knife, how you're planning on putting it into a system of yours. But I got to tell you, any of these knives would be fantastic. Just depends on what you're looking for. And an awesome way to spend 50 bucks and get a great, great quality knife. So I hope this video has just helped you out, shown you what's on the market, shown you my top list. This is my top list, just personal opinion of mine. You know, there are plenty of other good knives out there. To me, these are the top and my favorite $50 belt knives. So as always, thank you so much for checking out the channel. Please subscribe, comment, like, share this video. Love to hear your guys' thoughts. Check us out on all the relevant social media. And as always, remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. We'll see you out there.